I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it.
Due to online conduct that was found to be in violation of our zero-tolerance harassment policy, you will no longer be allowed to submit a speedrun or be allowed to be featured on broadcast for any Games Done Quick event effective immediately.
It's official. We are losing. I was just imagining the possibility of this happening. It was far off, and I really didn't think that Games Done Quick would actually go through with something like this. I was just sincerely hoping that it wasn't going to snowball any further since the last two bannings of RWhiteGoose and Graviton respectively, but holy shit was I wrong. This whole fiasco didn't start with the Games Done Quick ban, despite the general terrible direction Games Done Quick has been going in over the past 6 months. So yeah, it's only fair that I just go over what started this whole controversy in the first place, which happened about a month ago on one of Caleb's many streams. It was a seemingly minor mistake, minor slip-up, but just, you be the judge, actually. That appeared on screen for about a second, by the way, and said recipient of the message was a fellow speedrunner Carcinogen who was also white. Just going to put that in there for further context. But regardless, I'm not going to defend that, since you literally could have used any other word. Bro, pal, buddy, amigo, dude, hombre, literally anything else but the N-word. He was momentarily banned from Twitch following the controversy, and since then he's lost sponsorship with Counterlogic Gaming, which is a gaming network that currently has cheese signed to it, by the way, for example. This was all with this one slip of the tongue. He was also very quick to apologize following the incident, which I had a gut feeling telling me that it wasn't really going to help much, because this just followed almost a month later, despite the apology.
Due to online conduct that was found to be in violation of our zero-tolerance harassment policy, you will no longer be allowed to submit a speedrun or be allowed to be featured on broadcast for any Games Done Quick event effective immediately. This broadcast ban includes, but is not limited to, commentary for runs, hosting, and being visible on the couch during runs. You may still register, however.
Sounds like they just want him gone.
Well,
purged from Games Done Quick's history entirely. I heard about the part where he was banned from running, but not until recently about how it also extends to simply being seen on camera. Okay, so you might be thinking, how could all of this just happen over one second clip? It didn't, because it actually goes further than this one mistake he made on Twitch. Shortly after the Twitch ban, I found coverage on several sources of media, including ResetEra, which, let me make it really clear to you now that this is not the gaming forum that it claims to be. It's a far-left, SJW-infested hive mind. Good example here. ResetEra claims it opposes racism while simultaneously having members, moderators mind you, who say shit like this, and members who just outright agree with this as if there was never anything wrong with killing babies. And they'll ban anyone for even expressing the slightest bit of dissent. Meanwhile, they'll also call for two entities to be combined in their powers to just further censor people that they don't agree with. Only people that they don't agree with, to be specific. After having sifted through enough forum posts, I eventually stumbled onto this link. It's a massive imgur album cataloging Caleb's transphobic behavior on a public Discord server, which has been passed on to other members of that server. Wait. Why does all of this just sound so familiar? Well, this still doesn't invalidate the possibility that anything you said on the internet could be dug up to be used against you to silence you, deplatform you, and even potentially ruin your life. Just as like with Goose, I don't agree with this specific attitude towards transgender people. They have feelings too. But this is the trend of digging up past information I was just worried about since the last two GDQ bans. This is exactly what happened 6 months ago. And nobody tried to do anything to stop it from happening again. And just when it couldn't get any more obvious that there's a red flag or a corruption of GDQ's moderation of its attendees, his emote? Well, the emote featuring his likeness gets pulled, and that's after this happens.
But if you, as just a random viewer, happen to say my name, you literally get timed out for however long, without, what is that, a goddamn rule now? Where my name, if you say my name, and if you happen to mention me, oh hey, I watched this guy, you know, CalebHart42, I watched him do a run of this, then you fucking get banned with no warning? GDQ, do you hate money? Do you fucking hate being donated money?
You heard that exactly right. People are being punished in GDQ's chat for simply having said his name. This should terrify you. It's much worse than GDQ, quote-unquote, hating money. Confirms that the far left simply want him outright removed from the speedrunning community, and they're taking advantage of GDQ like they would other similar private businesses, or in some other cases unrelated to this, academia, to go and do so. They go where there's power. When they can get that power, they take it, twist it, and use it for their own agenda, like they're doing now. So note how this is not just a repeat of what happened 6 months ago, it's actually an escalation. Because, last I recall, there was never any mention that you couldn't say RWhiteGoose or Graviton's names in a Games Done Quick chat or any form of discussion involving them without you getting timed out or banned. So remember that last video I made regarding bans from Games Done Quick? Like it or hate it, I was trying to warn you that it was going to potentially get worse from there on out, and looks like it is. And speaking of the imgur album, I found mention of it in how, quote-unquote, Caleb Hart hates transgender speedrunners and so do all of his fans. On the official speedrun subreddit, clearly by someone who was trying to ruin his reputation, and there was also a bit of hope from some of the comments that followed. Also note how this is a gilded post, despite it being more downvoted than upvoted. So there's some more red flags right there. There are a select group of people who go into every high-profile speedrunner's Discord and track the posts and screenshot them when they believe the time is right. They strike with as many legitimately damning or just plain out-of-context quotes to shame the person. This is simply a dogpiling effort. You know what's really fucked up? That what you just wrote is actually true. There's no definitive way to prove exactly who did it. We can speculate about the trigger group that WQQQQWRT was talking about 6 months back. But screenshots like this, especially with this sort of sequence, they cannot just end up together like this by themselves. There must be some group of people out there that just attacked his reputation, and this is clearly an ideological move, by the way. And it'll just come for whoever has the wrong opinion next. So what is there even left to take from all this? Let me just say that Games Done Quick had to have been one of the greatest ideas within the entire speedrunning community, or possibly even within the gaming community as a whole. Being able to share your skills for gaming, and even more importantly, your love for gaming, whilst also doing it for a good cause, how could that not be one of the best things that the gaming community has pumped out? But unfortunately right now it's just being taken over by literally the worst people. But at least Caleb is still doing very well outside of GDQ. He's got more followers on Twitch than he could have ever recalled, and that one day where I assume he got the ridiculous amount of views was when he got the news that it was just not only banned, but pretty much erased from GDQ entirely. It's called the Streisand effect. The harder you try to hide something, the more curiosity it's going to attract. The more curiosity it's going to attract, the more exposure it's going to get. So nothing else left to say besides fuck GDQ and fuck these pathetic outrage mobs and go and give Caleb Hart a follow on Twitch. He's not the greatest guy, but he didn't deserve the bullshit he was put through as of late. That, and this is the best way to show everyone that these coordinated attacks are not going to work.
Recent event with Goose and whatever, I don't know, it's becoming a bit, it's just becoming excessive. You know, the whole, like, I don't know, man. It used to be all about playing video games and raising money for charity. That was it. Now it's all about this, you know, political correctness, and this other irrelevant shit that's just not important whenever it comes to playing video games